Hey, how you doing? Justin here. Today we are checking out the main solo in Lady Rider by Dire Straits, featuring, of course, the legend that is Mark Knopfler. And this is a lovely, lovely solo. Loads and loads of really interesting things going on. So let's get to a close-up and check out how to play it. Lovely, lovely solo, this one. So let's go through it one lick at a time. So the first phrase is very similar to what we had at the very intro solo. A few little things to point out. First of all, we're starting there, second finger, 4th fret of the 3rd string, sliding it up to the 6th fret, and then playing it again this time. Worth noting that the count is different to the intro as well. It's starting on the and after 3. So 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3. Now this one is definitely this note here, little finger 7th fret of the 2nd string, but it's just it's kind of only half there. It's definitely a muted out kind of a percussive note rather than that note as kind of a pure thing. Then we've got the 4th fret, still on the 2nd string with the 1st finger, hammering the 2nd finger down into the 5th fret. Then we're going to play that note again, the 5th fret, then back to the 4th fret, hammer that 2nd finger down, flick it off, and we're finishing on the 6th fret on the 3rd string. So the intro phrase. Lovely little phrase that. Now this next little thing, it's got a little bit of a chicken picking kind of a thing. It's quite, Mark Knopfler was doing quite a lot of this, especially in live versions of this song. And the basic idea here, we're going to get your finger ready here on the fretting hand, 7th fret on the 2nd string, 3rd finger. And you're going to lift up the finger so that you've just got a dead note. And you play it with your thumb, then with your finger, and then with your thumb again, and do the bend. And it's a tone bend twice. So bend, release, bend. But we get that little chicken picking thing before. So mute, mute, bend. Again, so thumb, index, thumb. Very, very cool little, very country, this kind of a thing. So just having... worth getting that thumb, index, thumb. And again, after that double bend, or the bend, release, bend, we've got to hold it. First finger's going to go down and play the 5th fret on the thinnest string. Then back to the bend. And then we got the release. Flicky off to the 5th. Then 7, 5 again, flick off. And then we're going to play the 6th fret on the 3rd string twice. Okay. Lovely, lovely little phrase, that one. The next one, the rhythm is a little bit odd, and to try and count out the rhythm would be very, very difficult. So I definitely recommend a lot of listening to the original recording to pick up this particular phrase, which is this. Okay, it's not particularly difficult to play, but getting the rhythm right, again, just a lot of listening is, I suspect, better than trying to count it, because the count's very difficult. It's crotchet triplets, if you wondered. So we're starting with the 1st finger in the 4th fret of the 4th string, and we slide that up to the 6th fret. Then we play 6th fret on the 3rd string, twice, then 9 with the little finger, 8, then 6, 8, 6, which is a hammer-on flick off with the 3rd finger, and then the 8th fret semitone bend with quite a heavy wide vibrato. Then we got the 8th fret with the half semitone bend, release, flick it off to the 8, hammer the 8 on again, flick it off to the 6, slide it off back to the 4th, and then finishing on the 6th fret on the 4th string, okay? Quite a lot going on in that particular phrase. I keep putting an extra pick there on the 8th fret. I don't think it's there on the original recording. At least I've transcribed it. I'm having to look at my transcripts to remember all of the details, and I've got it without that pick. So if I'm accidentally doing it wrong sometimes, you'll have to forgive me. So it should be all just one pick. Pick, and then picking that last note. Sound more like it as well. So yeah, lovely phrase again, so delicate to have that, especially here. Oh, I've done it again, I've picked that extra note and I don't want to. That's better. Okay, see, I need the practice on it as well. So that's that first chunk of that solo, because at that point the sound changes a little bit. I think he's changing the pickup. But when I change the pickup to the front on this particular guitar, it doesn't sound so great. So I'm going to leave the pickup selector there as the, I'm actually using the split of the humbucker. So one of the humbuckers and the middle together. So position 4 on the pickup selector on this Strat, which is probably what he uses on the original recording. It sounds like to me. Anyway, so let me give you a run through again of that first half before we go on to the new part. So nice and slowly, 2, 3. Okay, and then we're on to the new part, which is this. Just so tasteful. So this second part of the solo is starting with the 3rd finger on the 11th fret of the 3rd string, doing a tone bend. Then the 1st finger 9th fret 2nd string, 9th fret on the thinner string, and then the 12th fret on the 2nd string tone bend. Okay, it's quite a common kind of a blues lick. If you've played any blues guitar, you've probably played that lick. But what's going on here that's a little bit more important is that this last note, it's sustained quite long, and you've got a double dip in there as well. And it's really important that that note is held clean. So what I'd recommend there, just something to do with, we've not talked too much about Knopfler's finger picking, exactly what fingers he's using, because I'm not really sure, frankly, and I think you kind of have to discover those things a bit on your own, because I'm not so certain myself. I don't feel confident to tell you which finger you should definitely use. However, here there's a point in, it's kind of a logical case here. So if you use your thumb for the first note, then 1st finger, then 2nd finger, and then for the bend, you might not notice, but actually my 2nd finger is touching and resting on the thinner string. Thumb is resting on the 3rd string. So that really keeps everything kind of nice and quiet. So I can do that bend, and there's nothing else that's going to ring out, because everything else is covered by the rest of my hand. You know, the strumming hand, picking hand, whatever you want to call it. Also important is to make sure that you get that bend in tune. It's a pretty exposed kind of a bend. So when you do, You really want to make sure those bends are quite in tune, or it's going to sound a little bit wonky. I mean, you know, sometimes doing these lessons, my bends go a little bit wonky from time to time. I think that's, you know, we're all human, but that's what you want to aspire to, is a nice and in tune kind of a bend there. Then little finger's going to come off and play the 12th fret on the thinnest string. And then you're going to have, so the release, flick it off to the 9th fret, hammer on, flick off again. Okay, now we've got this other really nice little kind of series of flick offs and kind of pedaling notes that keep on repeating the same notes again. So we've got this 12th fret on the thinnest string, flick off to the 9th fret, then 9th fret on the 2nd string, 9th fret on the thinnest string. Okay, so it's the first phrase. 12, flick off to 9, 9, and then 9 on the thinnest string. Second part of that bar is exactly the same, but the last note, it suddenly jumps to the 11th fret, which is cool. It's kind of the twist of it. So 12, flick off to 9, 9 on the 2nd string, 9 on the 1st string, 12, flick off to 9, 9 on the 2nd string, then 11th fret, flick off to 9, 9 on the 2nd string, 9 on the 1st string, 9 on the 2nd string, then 10 on the 2nd string with the 2nd finger, flicking off to the 9th fret, 11th fret on the 3rd string, 9th fret on the 2nd string, 11th fret, flicking off to the 9th fret. It's quite a lot. Let me do it really nice and slowly, see if you can catch this one. It's the kind of phrase that's difficult because there's so much repeated stuff going on in it. So. Okay, 12, 9, 9, 9, 12, 9, 9, 11, 9, 9, 9, 9, 10, 9, 11, 9, 11, 9, flick off. Then you've got the 11th fret on the 3rd string, tone bend again. He's kind of gradually releasing it while putting some vibrato on. Then 9, 11, 9. Okay, that's on the timing of that's a little bit weird. It's the and, 4, and. So 2, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. Okay, again, listening is much better than counting, but if you're struggling with the listening part, and, 4, and, then we've got 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. So 11th fret tone bend, 9, 10, flick off to 9, 11, 9, 10, flick off to 9, 11, 9, 10, flick off to 9, 11th fret, 9th fret. Those last two being on the 3rd string. In fact, all those 11s were on the 3rd string, as you hopefully saw. Such a tasty solo. Let's have a look at that last section again. So there's one more lick that I really feel like I should share with you, which is a it's in the outro solo there. I'm not going to do that whole the whole of the outro solo, but yeah, I've got to give you something to do for yourselves. But this one lick, it's kind of a tricky one to work out, and it's so cool. So the lick is this. Still working on it myself. It's kind of an awkward fingering, but it's such a great lick. So let me run through you what it is. I'm going to talk about the fretting hand first of all, because it's the other hand that gets my fingers tied in a knot anyway. So we're starting with 11th fret on the 3rd string tone bend with the 3rd finger, then 9th fret the first finger leans over, 9th fret still, then little finger on the 12th fret, flicking off to the 9th fret to 11th fret back on the 3rd string, then 11th fret again, flicking off to the 9th, and then 11th fret on the 4th string, then 9th fret, 11th fret hammer on, 9th fret on the 3rd string, 9th fret on the 2nd string. Let me run through all of that. That's the first bar. 11, 9, 9, 12, 9, 11, 11, 9, 11, 9, 11, 9, 9. Okay? Okay, that's the first part of the phrase. Then we've got this 11 flick off 9, 11 on the 4th string, 9th fret on the 3rd string again, and it does that 4 times, that little pattern. Okay, it's 4 times around that. 2, 3, 4, riff again. 4 times. Riff again. You know, doing this sort of slow, careful practice is exactly what I'm having to do as well. Let me try and explain what's going on now with the strumming hand or the picking hand. So I'm using thumb, 1st, 2nd, thumb, flick, thumb, thumb, flick, thumb, thumb, hammer, 1st, 2nd. Okay, I know some of that seems a bit weird to having so much thumb going on, but if I just do it the whole thing nice and slowly, watch the way the hand seems to kind of flow nice if you're going. Really works nice. Thumb, 1, 2, thumb, flick, thumb, thumb, flick, thumb, thumb, hammer, 1st finger, 2nd finger, thumb, flick, thumb, 1, thumb, flick, thumb, 1. You know, slow practice really works. You know, just me doing it for you guys now with a few times is really helping kind of free up the flow of it. You know, it definitely repetition, slow, careful repetition is the way to develop these kind of licks and make them sound cool. I really hope you've enjoyed this series on Lady Writer. It really is an incredible song. Mark Knopfler is one of the finest guitar players to have ever graced this planet, and he's such beautiful, tasteful lines. You know, if you're into using this stuff, which I recommend that you would get into, really important to see the relationship between the phrases that he plays and the chords that it's played over. That's a really big deal. So I would spend a little bit of time looking at what notes he's playing and how they relate to the chords, because that's kind of the key to unlocking a phrase and being able to use it in your own improvisations, which is definitely, I think it's one of the main things that's cool about learning this kind of tune, is the ability to steal the licks. And you have to know where you can use the lick if you're going to steal it. You know, I mean, you could just use it wherever you like, but it's not going to have quite the same effect. You know, a lot of really good stuff here, and I'm sure you're going to have quite a few hours of fun with it, as I did, and continue to do, because I definitely don't feel like I've mastered this one yet. You know, so have a lot of fun with it, and I'll see you for plenty more lessons very soon. You take care of yourselves. Bye bye.